you want to start sister locks, here's some things that you might want to consider, because it's a lot. And the kids might be in the video because they're here. It has officially been a month locked. It's gonna be 2 months on the 12th of October, and I am loving it. Let me move in a little bit. My hair has thickened. It's thickened a lot, especially the ends. But I did want to talk about some things that you should definitely consider before starting your locks. And Abby, I just did her braids, so she's feeling herself right now. She's really feeling herself. But here's the first thing you want to consider, or just to think about, right? Is low maintenance. I literally woke up today and this was it. I did not touch it at all. But there's a downside to that as well, because it was a mess. For some reason, like, it had like a little curl bump at the top. But in order to fix that, if you're that type, you can put them in little, you know, Busta Rhyme braids around the whole head, just to have like a curly hairstyle. But me, I just throw my hair cap on and call it a day. That's what I love about sister locks, is that it's low maintenance. We don't have to do too much. The only thing I have to worry about is this one. It took me like, what, an hour and a half to do her braids for school, right? And you love it? She loves it. If your hair is short, actually just regardless, if you don't braid or anything, it will come out just as is. And that's the one thing I love about being natural, ever since even when it was my afro. Like, accept me as is, y'all. Because I got no other choice. You know what I'm saying? Second is that the shrinkage is real. And I think that's common for all naturals, you could say. But I expected it to not be as common for sister locks. Luckily, it's at a good length. Nothing too crazy, but do expect for there to be shrinkage, of course. Show you how I combat shrinkage. So I'm gonna look funny for the rest of this video, but at the end you're gonna see a difference between this side and this side. So I usually like to grab my scrunchie here, and the kids are looking at me. Dang, can we just take a break on mowing the lawn? I like to put it all in one ponytail. I don't do pigtail, I just do one. But I'm going to show you the difference once I'm done here in the lengths. So we're gonna leave this up. So this is a great method to stretch it out, and it does it really quick, actually. What I would do is I'll wake up to this, of course. I probably should have had like a white seat, but I'll wake up to this, and I would do whatever I need to do in the morning, shower, leave this in there, and it'll stretch out. You got some length, okay. Yeah, the kids had to go. All right, bye, Mom. They had to go. But if you don't want to do this, or you may not have length to do this, again, I had 8 inches, 7.5, 8 inches of hair when I locked. So I just pretty much put this up. But if you don't have a lot of length, you can use the method that you use to wash your hair, place them in like the little chunks of braids, and then untwist it and unbraid it the next day, and then your hair would of course elongate. When you do take a shower, it might shrink just a little bit, but it'll just get a little juicy. That's what I like. It gets a little plump because of the humidity and the moisture in the shower. And of course, the first couple of months it's best to use a shower cap because your hair is trying to officially like completely lock. But there is freedom in that, just like going in the shower, like soaking in the mist. You know what? I've actually taken some showers without my hair cap, and I'm fine, honestly. But that's the thing, there's just a lot of restrictions too. That's another thing to consider, because I actually had to call my my consultant for my second wash. I was like, yo, I don't really want to do these dookie braids again. Like, I just want to wash it and call it a day. But she was like, I'd advise you should just do the braids and just, you know, rub on the roots and do it just to get it out the way, because I guess it really helps with the locking process. You don't want to completely wet everything because the ends might start unraveling. So there are some restrictions, but just to keep it in stone so then your hair completely locks. Take a shower with a hair cap, always braid and band to wash your hair, and always sleep with a hair cap, because this is like an afro, of course. It'll collect dust and all that stuff, and it actually soaks in a lot of scents and odors. So definitely wrap it up wrap it up for sure. Another interesting thing, I really look crazy out here, like, but I'm gonna show you the results soon. Another interesting thing that I've noticed is cost. Of course, we already know it's expensive, right? But it really ties into how much hair you have. Now, when it comes to locks, a lot of us like to say we don't want to go through the ugly phase. I know, right? But hear me out, because short locks are in now. Like, I didn't even have not one ugly phase, and I've been following a lot of YouTubers and Instagrammers. They started off short and their hair is just stunning. It's giving me like a dreadlock version of those 90s styles, a sister lock version of those 90s styles that we love, with like Nia Long and Jada Pinkett Smith, you know, the classics, but with sister locks. I love it. Here's the thing, there is no ugly stage with sister locks, at least I don't think so, right? When it comes to locking your hair, I know some people like to wait it out, like let me wait my hair gets longer so I don't go through that ugly phase, but it'll be way more expensive. I actually heard of a client who had to pay literally $1,300 just to get her hair locked because she had 14 to 16 inches of hair. Now, some other people stated that they would charge $2,000 for that because of the length of the hair and how long it'll take and the density of the hair. So I would definitely consider that. Think of that through. Like, would you rather just lock it in, set it in stone when your hair is shorter so it's cheaper, or you want to wait till your hair is longer and spend more money? That's something that you really have to take into consideration. It's like $1,300 is a lot of, $2,000 is a lot of money to lock my locks in. Sweetie, it's not happening. Honestly, it's a really growing experience just to grow with your hair and just to see all the beautiful phases that you go through as well. I will start short if I was you. And again, I had 8 inches, 7.5, 8 inches. So you can measure your hair just to get a feel. And I've always been told, never compare your hair to others, or never dream and fathom and just feel like follow a lot of these other sister lock pages because you expect your hair to come out the same way, because we all have different hair textures, right? But for the length, you'll know that this is gonna be the length once it shrinks. So this is it if you had 7.5 to 8 inches of hair. So definitely consider that. Do you want to spend more money just to have more hang time? I wouldn't. Wanna come say hi? Hi. Say hi. Hi. Hey. So what's your name? Aman. Aman. Hey. Abby, come say hey. A-B-I-G-A-I-E-L. There we go. All right, time to go. Bye. Another thing to consider is how social you may be, because I have gotten stopped non-stop ever since I did my hair. Like literally 3 days in, I was stopped at Sam's Club. We went to Houston for the hurricane. I got stopped by so many people, and I was able to meet so many other women who had sister locks too. We just locked eyes. It was just like, I started 3 weeks ago. Come here, like, you know, bring it in. And so it was really exciting to just meet so many people and just talk about my hair, and even just refer my consultant, because a lot of women here in Louisiana, I was just like, yo, I've been on edge. I've been thinking about it, but I haven't done it. I'm like, sis, in the middle of Sam's Club, sis, lock your hair. You know what I mean? So if you're kind of antisocial, listen, you're gonna get a lot of attention, and it might not even be by black people, because actually that first Sunday I went to church. We're actually the only black family in our church. We're LDS, and everyone came up to me after sacrament. I was just like, they was like, I absolutely love this look. I was like, you know, definitely look forward to that, because people are gonna be all up in your face. While doing your research, another great thing to consider is time and the distance from you and your sister loctician consultant. This is a long title. Your sister loctician. Sister lock consultant, that's what it is. Because there are some people who might have to travel a long time, but the thing is, you will be sitting there for a long time to either tighten your hair or just establish your sister lock. So mine's took 2 days, total 18.5 hours. But luckily, she lives in the same vicinity. Like, it's just like a 20-minute ride, so it's not too crazy. and she's absolutely wonderful. So if I were to happen to have the kids, but retightening is only, I think our retightening was like an hour and a half, 2 hours. It actually wasn't bad at all. So, and it's like we chatted the entire time, so it wasn't even like a huge deal. And that's another thing. I think throughout this journey, you should be able to connect and relate to your loctician or your consultant. Mine is absolutely wonderful. It's like finding like those sponsors. Like my sponsor is great. Like literally my consultant, my loctician, she is absolutely wonderful. So the time flies, it flies by. But if you're looking for someone, make sure that they're close. Sometimes it depends on the state. They might be far. Like if you're in like them Timbuktu places like Idaho, Wyoming, where there might be like a handful of black people, it's gonna be a long drive. But if you're in a very populated area, chances are you most likely will find one nearby, maybe within an hour. So definitely consider time. Just do it. Like, your sister loctician is gonna be amazing. They're gonna welcome you to the community. And yes, it is a community. There's like so many of us here. Check out some hashtags in your city. You'll definitely get a feel of who's locking who in your city. I was actually looking for my friend who wants microlocks in Massachusetts, and I looked up microlocks Boston. Boom. I already found like 3 spots. Like, you will find someone for you to start this journey. But let's check out the length here. For some reason I have a feeling it might not work. But I'll usually leave this in. But if you don't want to do this, or if you might not have enough length, totally just braid it and it'll do what it needs to do. So we are going to compare. I feel like this might let me down. Yeah, you can see it a little bit actually. It's more straight as well. I've noticed that it straightens my hair. And you can see in the back, it's a bit longer than this side. The front, it's a bit more straighter. So here, like I told you, it will have that random bump from like not sleeping with any hairstyle, like actually fit in. It just sleeps whatever. So it would have like a bump or whatever. This is more straight. So it straightens it out for me and it elongates it just a little bit. But if I had this on for like 30 minutes, it would have been way longer. This side's a bit shorter. And now they just both look the same, honestly, at this point. But just try it. I know it works for me. But yeah, it has a little bit of a length on this side compared to this side. But regardless, get yourself locked. I actually washed my hair yesterday, so this was freshly washed. Here's the roots. It's actually growing in pretty well. I had gotten them twisted a little bit after the hurricane. So I think like the first week of September actually. And it's crazy because she was expecting to have like a lot of new growth at 4 weeks, but I didn't. So now we're gonna extend it to 6 weeks. So just to see, but so far we got some growth and they're looking great. Let's look at the back. Comment down below on your concerns. I'll probably tap into it in another video, but just go for it. Do it. And if you got short hair, do it now. Start now. Who cares? Your hair's gonna grow anyway. Alright? And you'll look gorgeous. You'll look stunning. Alright? Do it.